Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining the Community Ledger. I wanted to hop back on here because we have some new results in. Nevada and Arizona look like they came in and they did go red. So let's take a look.
That are calling the race for two of the final states we've been waiting on in the presidential race. Nevada and Arizona, they are going to Donald Trump. At the same time, we're still waiting to see about the balance of power in the House. Right now, Republicans are at 209. That's just 9 seats away from what they need to take control. Democrats holding at 191. Yesterday, Republicans took control of the Senate, but we are keeping a close eye on a handful of key races still.
So there you have it. Nevada and Arizona went to Trump. I do think the numbers are around 312 that he's winning. I'm going to put a map on at the end of this video. But I also wanted to approach or evaluate the election Nostradamus. That's what they call him. I think his name is Alan Littman. Litzman. He predicts these elections every year since '84, and the last 10 elections, he predicted 9 correctly. And so this year we will hear what he says. Now, I listened to this live and he has like these 13 keys that he goes off of. And these things have to be in place. 6 of them have to be in place for him to feel like you're going to win the election. When he expressed last week why he thought Kamala was going to win based on those 13 keys, it didn't make any logical sense to me. Was like, okay, clearly he is a Democratic shield because this is not even making any intelligent sense. But hey, what do I know? So I'm going to let him tell you about it.
My September 5th prediction has not changed. As I said, it doesn't sway with the polls, the pundits, the ephemeral events of the campaign. I'm still predicting a Harris victory. I'm still predicting a Harris victory. Prediction for this presidential election was wrong. I own up to it. Right now, I am taking time off today, Wednesday, through my live show Thursday. My aim is to assess why the keys were wrong and what we can learn from this era and what the election means for the future of our country going forward.
Yeah, so he was wrong, like a lot of liberals were. And all Democrats were. And I don't even see how, because I followed this thing from the very beginning and it appeared she was going to lose very early on. I knew the mainstream media was lying because they kept saying, oh my God, this is such a close race. This is such a close race. Oh my God, it's a nail biter. And you're like, how? How, Sway? How? I mean, truth be told, in October, in November, Biden was up 7 points at that time. During his election, Hillary Clinton was up by 4. During her election, Kamala was up by 1. So I'm like, how is it she's doing less or worse than Biden, worse than Hillary, but she's going to win? That doesn't even make logical sense. Hillary lost. This makes no sense. How could she be performing worse than Hillary, but still somehow going to win? And everyone knows that Trump overperforms on election day. So I'm like, the math ain't mathing. Like, there's no possible way. I had already decided there's no mathematical way she could win this election unless they do something fugazi. Like if they do something real slick and sly, and they were trying it. You know, in Virginia, they were trying to allow, or the DOJ ordered Virginia to stop combing through non-citizen voter registration, and the Supreme Court had to come shut that down. So they tried it. But if it was a clean, legal election, there was no way she could win. And so I don't know what the 13 keys are that he's talking about, but yeah. He lied. And so I also want to get into, oh my goodness, late night and their reaction to the Trump election. So let's see that.
This was not great. Let's be honest. It was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go, for healthcare, for our climate.
And I just want to speak on that. How is it a hard night for children when you have hundreds of thousands migrant children who are missing and only Trump has been the one speaking about it? He is the only one who said he wants to find these children, but it was a bad night for children?
For science, for journalism, for justice, for free speech. It was a terrible night for poor people, for the middle class, for seniors who rely on Social Security, for our allies in Ukraine, for NATO.
Tears? Really? Tears?
For the truth and democracy and decency. And it was a terrible night for everyone who voted against him. And guess what? It was a bad night for everyone who voted for him, too. You just don't realize it yet.
Well, it happened again. After a bizarre and vicious campaign fueled by a desperate need not to go to jail, Donald Trump has won the 2024 election. It's almost like you rehearsed that.
Right?
The deep shock and sense of loss is enormous. Okay, but let's look at the bright side. This way, at least there'll be a peaceful transfer of power. Mike Pence, ollie ollie oxen free. All day yesterday, I was walking around proudly wearing my I voted sticker. Today, I wore my I am questioning my fundamental belief in the goodness of humanity sticker.
Well, welcome to Late Night, everyone. So I just want to start tonight by admitting something I feel you all should know. I voted for Kamala Harris. I know. Myers keeps it close to the vest. No one knows where Myers stands. Also, something else you should know. When I start referring to myself in the third person, it's a good sign that something in Myers' brain broke a little bit last night. Speaking of last night, I was at an election watch party, and as the results started coming in, I'm just with you. Can you imagine? Was there a single election watch party in New York City last night? We're making Kamala cupcakes and Tim Walstinis. I did end up doing some kamikaze shots. But I was watching the results come in because I couldn't sleep. And it was like Christmas Eve. If you know, on Christmas morning, you're either going to wake up to find that Santa left presents under the tree or just took a huge dump in your fireplace. If you're lactose intolerant, don't drink the milk, you know? So I was watching the results, and I knew I would be here a few hours later, to talk about it. And I couldn't help but think, and this is genuine, what a privilege. What a privilege to be here with you, to be here with my colleagues, to not feel alone. What a privilege. This is a joyful place to work, and we hope you can see the joy when you're watching at home. We're not going to let anything take that joy away. Even we're talking about things that are not particularly joyful. For example, here's something. I don't think Donald Trump's a good person. I'd even go so far as to say he's a bad person. Now, in my defense, I'm only basing that on everything I've ever been taught about what makes someone good or bad. That's it. That's the only thing I'm basing it on. But and this is real, and this is something I accept. Half the country thinks he's a good person, or they don't care that he's not because they think he's a good president. And because of that, he's going to be our president again. That's how democracy works in America, a country that is a privilege to live in, even on a morning like today.
So yes, you had the comedians of late night that forgot to be funny. They forgot to be funny. They forgot to be bipartisan. They forgot to just keep it light and make people laugh. There's a lot of people hurting on the Kamala support side. So I guess they liked it. And 72 million Americans, 72 plus million Americans voted for Trump. So listen, a lot of people don't feel the way you do, okay? He feels that Trump is not a good person. I happen to feel like Kamala is a horrible person. So everyone who voted against Kamala had their reasons. You got to respect it. To all these people who are online on social media completely losing their minds, I don't get it. I honestly don't. I worked in Manhattan, in Soho, the first 2016 when Trump was elected. It was a very melancholy day, truth be told. I remember being in the city and it was cloudy and everybody came in and they were very somber. It appeared that someone had died. And I remember being like, this is a bit much because I didn't vote that year. I wasn't a fan of Trump or Hillary, so I didn't think that it was going to benefit me much to have either in office. So I was unaffected. But I do remember a lot of people were really down. And I feel like they're even going crazier now. The stuff on TikTok is just insane. But nonetheless, there you have it. You have all of that red. So it looks like the final score was 226 electoral votes for Kamala Harris and 312 electoral votes for Trump. So it does look like Nevada and Arizona came in for Trump. Even 3 of the quote unquote blue wall states, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, ended up being red. So it's interesting. I mean, there's a resounding desire for Trump in office. And so I am very excited for the future. I'm very excited for this new term. I really am waiting because I'm very interested in finding out what the numbers are for Democrats that actually voted Republican this year, because I do know there are quite a few Democrats who have, been lifelong Democrats and voted that way their entire lives, but this election cycle decided to flip the script. So I will be very interested in seeing what those numbers are. And so even with all of this going on social media and even late night, for whatever reason, even when you watch all of mainstream media, they're trying to figure out what went wrong. They're blaming uneducated white women. Some are blaming black men. But for whatever reason, they can't blame themselves. I don't get it. I can't get it. No one is saying, maybe Kamala's policies suck. No, not even an option. Not even an option. Nobody even wants to take that into account, which is mind-blowing. But nonetheless, what's your opinion? What's your opinion on all the people losing their minds on social media? And how do you feel about late night, leaning Democrat, feeling like, everyone should just be on board to have the same party in office for all of eternity? That's not a democracy, okay? That's not how it works. So anyways, if you enjoy this commentary, please do like, share, and subscribe. Again, my name is Andrea Banu, and until next time, this is the Community Ledger.